Hi, I'm Sean.
I'm Rhonda.
And we want to talk about empathy creating a positive atmosphere in your marriage.
Let's talk about the difference in criticizing and complaining.
You know, sometimes we withdraw from using the terminology complain as we think of it in a negative way, but complaining in the marriage is really making your spouse aware of a negative behavior or the negative impact something is having.
If I criticize, I'm using you statements, I'm blaming and accusing. I'm kind of telling you what your character looks like to me, and that's not appropriate.
Right. So we don't want to be cutting our spouse in an attacking way, but we do want them to be aware when some behavior has a negative impact on us.
And that's complaining. So
Right.
Complaining is constructive. It is basically saying, this is the fact for me. This is the way it feels to be me
Right.
on this side of the relationship.
So you don't want to have the mentality of we're going to sweep everything under the rug and now everything looks nice and clean because we're not looking at it. But you look down there and there starts to become, this big lump under the rug from all the material that we keep getting out of our viewpoint because we're not dealing with it.
We have to train ourselves to hear that well.
Right.
Because sometimes it's hard to hear that. And sometimes we think our spouse is characterizing us negatively, and that's not the case.
Right.
You have to be able to weed past what may sometimes be a poor presentation to catch the heart message.
So it's kind of like saying, ouch. If somebody stepped on your toes, then you make them aware of, wow, that was a sore spot there, and it makes them, oh, please don't do that again.
So empathy creates a positive atmosphere in the marriage because when we feel heard, when we are understood, and our spouse can be okay with understanding everything they do isn't perfect in the relationship, there's actually room to grow. And I can understand when Sean needs to say the same to me. We tend to nag less. There's not a reason for nagging, really, because we're open and approachable to hear these things.
Oh, goodness. Well, why does nagging take place? It's repeatedly saying something over and over because that person doesn't see anything change. They maybe don't feel heard or understood.
Yeah, conflicts get handled more quickly.
Right.
Because we're listening to what does it feel like to be you? I really care. I really want to hear what's happening on the inside of you because you so matter to me.
Yeah, it's being attentive to what your spouse needs at that given time and not overlooking that and going on like it doesn't matter.
And it's saying the issue that we face, we both face it together. This isn't a he versus she. This is a we looking at an external issue going on. We need to address this.
So another area that empathy creates positive in the relationship is friendship. It builds that friendship camaraderie that we're able to, we're going through life together. We're experiencing things together.
When you think about your friendships, are you friends with someone who's getting on to you all the time, who's never happy with you, who's always fault-finding? Probably not. You're probably friends to the level you feel heard, accepted, loved, understood. That sets the tone for a friendship and determines the depth of that friendship. And so it's the same in the marriage. Mm-hmm. So if we have a friendship and we work on that, we can laugh and play together, and that's the foundation from which we talk through our issues, we're more likely to be successful.
And it said that a happy marriage is built on a deep friendship. Mm-hmm. That's how important that is. So an increased commitment to each other.
So when we are empathetic, we are strengthening the bond and the commitment level between each other.
Right.
It also replaces judgment with grace when we're empathetic because we're understanding.
Right, and increases positivity. It has a positive effect on our health and our recovery.
It actually affects us physically when we are known in a positive manner in the marriage.
And lastly, understanding of each other's dreams and increase the desire to help fulfill them. When you can relate to and connect with your spouse, you want to help them grow and thrive where they are.
And so when you look at empathy in the marriage, the positive environment that's created when there is empathy, then you go deeper into the sharing of your dreams and goals. There's a caring to make that happen, but when we're clashing over every little thing, we don't feel like the other person is even interested. We're not going to go there. But can you imagine how strong the marriage is when each one is trying to support the other one in being the best person they can be?
Yeah, and this is all about empathy, I think, is all about being connected. It's the connection that you feel and that you experience with your spouse.